Welcome to the online video lecture series of the course Computer Organization and Architecture. In previous class, we have seen various components of the system which are used to perform different tasks, and we have also seen their basic operations. We have also talked about how particular instruction is executed through a system, and we have seen what are the basic steps required to fetch, to decode and to execute particular instruction. So, in today's class we will talk about how particular component can transfer the data to other component. That means, how different components are connected to each other, that is bus. And we will also talk about various methodology for bus arbitration if different components are requesting for the bus. So, as you can see, there are various components in the system: processor, memory, I/O devices. They are connected through a common group of lines. These group of lines are nothing but they are bus. These set of lines are used to transfer the data from one place to another place, means two units can communicate their information through a common bus. So, bus can be defined as group of wires. So, this is a system bus, and this bus can be categorized in three part: control bus, data bus and address bus. The task of each bus is different. Let us have a control bus. This particular bus is used to transfer the control signals. Since most of the control signals are issued by the control unit in the processor, so various control signals are transferred through a control bus. Means processor can communicate their signals through a control bus. The second category, that is data bus. This particular bus is used to transfer the data or instruction or operand or any result or process data, you can say process data. So, this can be transferred through data bus. And the last category, that is address bus. This particular bus is used to transfer the address for particular component, and these addresses are always generated by the processor, because control unit is basically responsible to generate all the addresses. The control unit controls all the operations in the system. That is why all the addresses are generated by the control unit, and these three combination is called as system bus. Now, let us talk about the direction and interconnection of these buses. Here you can see the data bus and the control bus is bidirectional to each component. However, the address bus is towards the component, means the direction is unidirectional from bus to other component, and in case of processor it is from processor to address bus. It is outwards the processor and inwards to other component. Why? As I said, all the addresses are generated by the control unit in the processor. So, addresses are generated. So, they are transferred to the bus. They are first put onto the channel, that is address bus, and whose address is generated, that address is accepted by particular component or matches with particular component or unit. Let us have an example of read operation. Suppose read operation is to be performed. So, how this operation is performed? In last class we have seen how instruction fetch operation was performed. In same way, we will talk about the address of the location of particular component. For example, it is a memory. So, that address is generated by first processor, and that address will be available onto the channel, that is address bus. And here the address is available on the channel whosoever address matches with particular component, that component will be activated. And in parallel to the address transfer, the command read is issued by the control unit through a common, so through a control bus. Control bus is having a command or a control signal read. So, whosoever address matches with the address bus data, that component will receive the command or the control signal read. And after that, the fetch operation will be performed. The data will be transferred through data bus, means fetching a content from particular location and putting the data or storing transferring the data through a data bus, and from data bus to processor this data is transferred this way. So, these three buses are used to transfer the data from one place to or from one unit to another unit. So, this way we can understand how system bus performs for data transfer between different components of the system. So, let us talk about single bus structure. In this case, all the components are connected through a common bus, common or a system bus. So, this bus is nothing but it is a set of address bus, control bus and data bus. So, all the components can transfer their data through this common line, single structure, but this has some serious drawbacks or some limitations. First, if we connect more number of components, then obviously there will be a problem of propagation delay, because more components are utilizing the bus, they are using the bus for data transfer. So, propagation delay may be possible, and obviously this will have one more drawback, that is limited capacity, because in a single bus we cannot connect more number of components. So, it has a limited capacity, it cannot be scaled using single bus structure. The system cannot be scaled or cannot be connected more number of components through a single bus, it has limited capacity. And last one is bottleneck problem. So, these are basic drawbacks of the single bus structure. So, how these drawbacks can be removed? So, obviously, there is a requirement of multiple bus system. So, as shown in this figure, here you can see different buses are used to connect different components. So, these are basic components: processor, cache memory, IO controller, main memory. This is connected through a system bus, and there are different components: network, fax and modem and serial, these are connected through a expansion bus. So, special or different bus is used to connect more number of components, that is expansion bus, and this bus is connected with the system bus through a expansion bus interface. And there is one more bus dedicatedly used to connect those components which are require high capacity of data transfer. For example, multimedia application, gaming application, video transfer application, where lot of data has to be transferred in a single clock cycle. So, due to the limited capacity, this cannot be performed in case of single bus architecture or a simple bus system. So, in that case, high speed bus is required, because these applications are carrying high amount of data. which is to be processed in a single clock cycle or a very few clock cycle is to be processed or to be transferred. So, dedicatedly high speed bus is used to handle such type of application. For example, graphics, video, LAN application and small computer system interface. So, this can be connected through a high speed bus. So, through this architecture previous drawbacks can be removed. So, what are the advantage of this bus is this is fast accessing, means fast data transfer is possible in this case, and high performance can be achieved, and also it is scalable, means more number of components can be connected through this system through a multiple bus architecture. And obviously, in any computer system the main objective is to achieve maximum performance or high performance that can also be possible using this architecture. So, during programming we have seen various types of commands. So, in general there are few commands which are to be introduced, which are required in later classes. These commands are memory read command, memory write command, IO read, IO write, bus request, bus grant, interrupt request, interrupt acknowledge, clock. These are basic commands which we generally use in our study of this course. So, memory read command, the abbreviation used here MR. Memory read command is basically used to instruct the memory that read operation is to be performed, and this signal is issued by the control unit. So, whenever read operation is to be performed, the command MR is issued. And the next command is memory write or abbreviation can be used as MW. So, whenever process data is to be stored in main memory, so in that case write operation or write command is issued by the control unit. Next is IO read. Whenever some input is taken by from the IO device, so the command is used as IO read. And the output or result is to be write through IO write command or IOW command. And the next command, that is bus request. Whenever particular device is requesting for the bus to transfer their data, the command issued as BR, and if the bus is available, control unit will generate the command bus grant, that is BG. BG signal will be issued. Whenever a particular unit or component is requesting for the interrupt, that request can be handled by interrupt request, that is INTR, and that request is acknowledged by the processor through interrupt acknowledge INTA. So, in our system all the operations or components are synchronized through a clock. So, this command CLK is used to show that components are synchronized using a clock cycle. So, there are many more commands you will see later in this course. So, let us talk about bus arbitration. So, as I said, in a multiple bus architecture, several components are connected through a bus. So, they are requesting to transfer their data. So, they are required the bus, because only on the availability of bus the transformation operation will take place. So, it is a responsibility of controller who allocate the bus to particular component. So, there are various components which are requesting for the bus, that means bus request signals are issued by various components, but the bus grant signal is issued by the control unit to particular component. So, switching of bus from one component to another component is called as arbitration. So, Here there are two types of bus arbitration is possible. First is centralized bus arbitration, where one component is deciding to whom the bus is to be granted, and second is all devices participate in the selection of the next master. So, the component which is using the bus is called as master. So, there is a term master is used. The bus which is held by particular component is the master of that bus, because that master is using the bus. So, let us talk about various methodology to handle bus arbitration, methods for bus arbitration. So, there is first method or simplest or cheaper method called as daisy chaining method. For bus arbitration generally we use. So, in this case there are several masters are connected through a common line, that is bus request and bus busy. So, common line is used to connect all the masters, and they can put their request, that is bus request, through a bus request channel. And if they gets the bus, hold the bus and transferring their data, they can inform to the controller that bus is busy through a bus busy line. So, this method is very simple and cheaper, and very less number of lines are required in this case, but there are few drawbacks of this method. We will talk about this. So, here components are connected through a common lines bus request and bus busy, and they are requesting or they are putting their request to the bus request channel, requesting for the bus, but it is a responsibility of controller to issue the bus grant signal. In this case, this signal of bus grant is propagated or broadcasted through a first master. You can see the controller will always issue the bus grant signal to the first master, and from first master this signal will be propagated or broadcasted, right. So, if master 1 is not requesting for the bus, then this bus grant signal will be issued to the next master, and in this way the signal of bus grant is propagated. So, this method, as I said, the advantage of this method is it is simple and cheaper method, and very few lines are required to connect, but this has serious drawbacks. This method has serious drawbacks. The first drawback is, since the signal of bus grant is propagated from one master to another master, so obviously slow arbitration time will be observed. Means this signal will propagate it from one master to another master, and if some master is busy, it will evaluate whether the bus is required by particular master, yes or no. If it is not required, then only this signal will be issued to the next master. So, due to this, slow arbitration is possible in this case. And second drawback, that is priority depends upon physical location. So, obviously, if there are more number of masters connected, so the master located at last location will always get a bus in the last, because controller is issuing the bus grant signal to the first master only, and intermediate masters, if they are not requesting for the bus, then only this signal will be propagated, and the master which is requesting for the bus is located at the last location will always get the bus in the last. So, priority of getting the bus will depend upon physical location. And last but very important drawback of this scheme is chance of failure is more. If particular master gets failed, so what will happen? This broadcasting on propagation of bus grant signal is not possible. So, in that case remaining system cannot accept or receive the bus grant signal in anyhow. So, failing of one component will reflect the whole system to fail. So, that is the major drawback of this scheme, daisy chaining. So, let us talk about the next scheme where few drawbacks has been resolved. The next scheme called as polling or rotating priority method. In this case all the masters are connected through a address lines. So, separate address lines are used to connect different masters. So, suppose there are n masters connected through this system. So, accordingly number of address lines are required and they are requesting for the bus through a bus request channel and acknowledging to the controller that I am using the bus can be given through a bus busy channel. They can acknowledge to the controller if they are using the bus, they can issue the signal of bus busy through a bus busy line. So, here you can see various masters are connected through a common channel or address line, various module address lines in this figure, and the polling sequence is generated by the controller. In this case various masters are connecting or requesting for the bus. So, to whom the bus grant signal is to be issued, it depends on polling sequence. So, there is a decoder which decodes or initiates or generates the polling sequence and to whom the bus grant signal is issued, and according to polling sequence the particular address is generated and that address will be available on the channel of address module or this address lines, and if particular master is requesting for the bus and address matches with the address available on the channel, that master can get the signal of bus grant and this master will hold the bus and use the bus to transfer their data. So, this way this methodology can be implemented, and if particular master is holding the bus, that master will inform the controller that bus is busy. So, what are the major advantage of this method? This method is bit faster than the previous method, that is daisy chaining method. So, in this case arbitration is faster. This method is again a simple and there is a less chance of failure. In this case failing of particular master will not affect the whole system to fail. If particular master is gets fail, so there is no effect on rest of the system, because every master is connected separately with the controller through a common channel, that is address line channel. Besides these advantages, there are few disadvantages also. Increasing the size will require more number of address lines, that is a major drawback of this scheme. If we increase number of masters in this case, so obviously more number of address lines are required. So, more number of group of wires are required in this case. So, there is a limitation of this scheme. We cannot connect more number of modules in this scheme. In this method we have a limitation to connect few number of modules. We cannot connect more number of modules in this case. To remove this drawback or to overcome this drawback, the next method proposed is fixed priority or independent request method. So, in this case each master has a separate pair of bus grant and bus request with the controller. However, bus busy channel is common for all master. So, whosoever master is requesting for the bus, it can put their request separately to the controller, and there is a priority decoder which decides whose priority is high, and that particular component will be issued a bus for their transfer. So, based on priority, the bus grant signal will be issued, and the priority is decided by the priority decoder in the controller. So, whosoever priority is high, that particular master will gets the access of bus. So, that is the major change in this case of priority based method. So, there are various advantages in this case. It is very fast in case of arbitration. Fast arbitration is possible in this case. So, it is the fastest one and very less chance of failure in this case again. So, that was the advantage of previous case, and in this case also there is a very less chance of failure. So, failing of any system will not affect the whole system to fail, because every master is connected through a common through a controller with a pair of bus grant and bus request. So, if particular master gets failed, there is no effect of failing that master with the whole system. So, that is the advantage of this, but there are few disadvantages of this method also. The first one is the cost is high, obviously, because to connect every master with a pair of line, cost will be high, and there is a requirement of priority decoder whose cost will also be included in this case. And one major drawback in this case is chance of starvation. In case of starvation, the low priority module or the low priority master will have a chance of getting the bus, but it will never get a bus or never get a bus grant signal due to high priority masters in the system. So, in case of any module having low priority, so there will be a chance of getting a bus, but this particular master will never receive a signal of bus grant from the controller. So, that is the condition of starvation that may arise in this case. However, it is faster and chance of failure is very less in this case. So, in this lecture we talked about how components are connected through a common group of lines called as bus, and how this bus can be arbitrated from one component to another component. Various methodology we have seen, that is daisy chaining, priority based method and polling sequence. Thank you.